Hello and welcome back to Parley. This prompt was written by XandyPants, cool name, no notes, and it's about naming a beverage focused series. Interesting. Haven't gotten a lot of these that are like advice for actual videos. I guess you're also doing a YouTube thing. Let's take a look. Hello, I'm trying to name this new drink series that I'm going to start, and I want your advice on these names. Okay, and I see there's a list of 10 names that you've given us. I included the entire post that gives context, so please read it, read the names, and tell me what you think. Okay, that's pretty simple. Seems doable. Let's take a look. Okay, this is going to be a community post, I guess. It says, bring more builds, exclamation point in parentheses, question mark. More like build more beverages, am I right? It's that time of year again, where I finally stop trying to force this channel to be about video games, and instead give you all what you demand. That drink content is capitalized. That like, comment, and subscribe hydration. That sipple for a tipple, you know what I'm saying? I really don't know what you're saying. Where's this going? Now, most years I just do one video for April 1st, and I know that can feel a bit stingy. So this year, we'll be renovating that Bring More Build series into a new series called, and then there's a blank here. Okay, so I guess this is what we're supposed to fill in. All about beverage and video game build pairings. I can tell from the response to the first Bring More Builds video that has an exclamation point every time, which is throwing me off, I made last week, that you would all much prefer a different direction. The whole builds and build systems thing, you know, my entire focus for this channel, basically the essence of pursuing novelty itself, which is arguably one of our fundamental pursuits as conscious beings, that's clearly just not working out. Novelty schmovelty. After all, YouTube is fully predictable, and view counts precisely correlate to how much people like things, rather than being an unknowable black box that's often best ignored. YouTube view counts prove that big hydration is capitalized, vids are the way to go. I think. I might have the numbers wrong. So which drink concept would you like me to make first as part of this glorious new direction? Okay, it's a poll type community post. And so it looks like I'll just leave that part to them. That's not the focus of this parlay. So you could go check out XandyPants' channel if you wanted and look at this poll if you were so inclined. You could vote. This channel sounds pretty sweet. Maybe I'll take a look. But stay focused. The first thing we need to do is figure out some names. And so we've got a list of 10 names. Now it's weird. It looks like you... I hate to do this. Let's just step aside for a sec. I hate to do this, but in the parlay, see there, you seem to have copy pasted the list of names, and it says, ChatGPT. Certainly, here are some creative ideas for your YouTube series. And then there's a list of 10 names. And at the bottom it says, feel free to mix and match or modify these suggestions to best suit your style and content. Listen, I'm not trying to say you always have to have original ideas. But I don't know. I mean, leaving the chat GPT part in, it's like, do I want you to admit that? Or do I want you to just not use that? And the names. I mean, when we get to the names, it's like a little academic. Okay, just before we move on, let's briefly talk about the whole chat GPT thing as part of this, right? Because I think that using like deep learning generational AI to get inspiration for things is one of the better use cases. It is one of the few places where it kind of creates something new that would be good for humans, rather than just kind of endlessly regurgitating things, plagiarizing, creating a type of sort of bulk content that we arguably just don't need that much. Things like that. This is arguably one of the ways you could use this service that kind of leads to something, use it for inspiration. And so I can get behind that. And it's kind of interesting in and of itself for a parlay to be responding to this idea. But I have to say, did someone advise you to ask ChatGPT about this? In a way, it's like kind of the perfect thing to ask, because, okay, so what a lot of these algorithms are good at is combining many different things and seeing which words would correlate to each other, right? Like, given this word, what word comes next is often a way these are sort of oversimplified, explained. But another way to think of it is just, if you're looking for something that is, terms that fit together well, this can check like an impossible number of options. And what you're going to get back is a list of things that are pretty obvious, but actually pretty good, because it's just difficult for a human to get through that kind of mental block. When I put you on the spot and say, give me a name for a beverage and build focus series. Beverages and builds is like fine, but kind of academic, right? And you're not going to be able to think of too many more quickly because it's just difficult to run through every single option. You see what I'm saying? In a way, this is a very good use of ChatGPT. This is the thing I would expect it to be like among the best at, basically. And I have to say, the names, let's read them and let's have a bit of fun. So we're going to read them one by one. And I don't like most of them, but they're pretty funny. And most of the reasons I don't like them are like pretty pedantic. So let's just get into it. That's what we're going to do. That's going to be, I think, the whole parlay, the rest of the parlay. But I wanted to say that I personally think while you'll do a lot with the title, I'm sure, take a word pairing, and a lot of them are like blank and blank, blank and blank. Like most of the titles are like that. If you take that and then get rid of the like other schmuck that's afterward, we'll talk about it in a minute, and just kind of put your own spin on that little phrase. And this basically just helps you come up with rhyming words that mean drink and playstyle. Then I personally think that's fine. But I would definitely not, just to give the best advice at the beginning of the video, do not use the entire title of any of the 10. That is not good. Very bad idea. I'm not necessarily anything to do. I mean, the AI thing is beside the point. They're very bad as is. So let's get into it a bit, shall we? A bit of fun talking about what makes a good title, I guess, in my opinion. Wow, this parlay is quite specifically tailored to exactly what I would want to talk about. Funny that. The first one. Are you ready? Brace yourself, because you're about to find out what the other 9 are like kind of going to be like, okay? If you've used ChatGPT a lot, it might sound a little familiar to you, but I really haven't personally. So to some extent, I've used it enough to expect what's coming, but like not too much. It still made me laugh a little bit instead of groan, which some of you might. Get ready. Okay, number 1. Sips and strategies, pairing beverages with gaming styles. So the and is like a, what are they called? Ampersands? The little symbol for and, not the word A-N-D. I would recommend that, by the way. There's a couple of good things. Let's do good things first. Sips and strategies. Okay, 2 rhyming words that mean basically beverage and basically playstyle. You completed the assignment, ChatGPT, like golf clap. And then an and, not the word and. No one's going to search for the word and in here, really. And you can always put a tag in the video that says sips and strategies, just in case the series gets popular and people specifically search for that term. That's not particularly a problem. Like, you can get around that very easily. So the symbol is good because it saves space in the title line, and people aren't really going to search for, well, actually, any of these terms. That's one reason I don't think it's good, but we'll get back to that in a minute. No one's going to search for like sips, right? For like drink recipes, you know what I mean? But then no one is going to search for a series about combining drinks and video games, but that's by the by. Strategies. Yeah, people will search for that term. So you've given the series a name that says what it's about. Sips and strategies. The sips thing that's bad. That doesn't really make me think drink. Like, I get it if I knew what the series was, or I see the thumbnail and it's like a drink and a build or something, then I guess I would figure it out. But sips, nobody says, you know what I mean? It's like, I'll get it from the thumbnail, but then I kind of hate it. Like, I'm mad that I get it. So that's bad. I think that's not good. But strategies people will actually search for. So that's kind of sick. Like, you have the title and it sort of is what it is. I think the biggest thing, though, is that this really embraces the non sequitur about the 2 concepts. You know what I mean? I feel like you don't have to do this, but to push you, XandyPants, the above and beyond for this title is that the person reading the title like gets that there is a connection between beverages and builds. but they like definitely won't though with this title. So no, in the trash. Do we need to spend time in this parlay in our sadly limited lives pursuing novelty or whatever you were going on about before, talking about why the colon pairing beverages with gaming styles part is like bad? You know what I mean? It not good. There's a lot of reasons actually. But the biggest one, and the reason why we really don't need to talk about it more, is that it uses up all of your title. In fact, I will quickly count for you how many characters that is, because you have 50 that will show in the title bar before they get cut off. And that, Sips and Strategies pairing builds with beverages with gaming styles, is 55. So vetoed. The pairing beverages with gaming styles does nothing. It adds nothing, and it takes up literally all of the rest of your space in the title. Sips and Strategies alone, not bad, 17 characters out of your 50. That's fine. It's fine. I would reject any titles where the words were both really long, because again, spoiler alert for the rest of this one, 9 of the 10 remaining titles we're going to go through, though I actually am going to pick one and I'm not going to tell you what it is. We'll let you see it on the XandyPants videos. I hope you use the title I choose. 9 of the 10 remaining options are also blank and blank, okay? And they rhyme. So that's the rest of the video. And there's only really 1 or 2 of them that are longer than this. The blank and blank part is longer than this. And so those, I'm going to be concerned. I think this is fine. 17 characters, fine. But overall, not bad. I think this is one of the better ones. In fact, let's put them in a very, very basic tier list. I'll just, in my notes, organize. This one is like fine, I guess, over the line to being acceptable. I wouldn't like be upset if you use this title, but there will be a lot that will be below the line. Do not. This is funny, but not good. Let's continue, shall we? So not bad. Main notes are the fluffy part after the blank and blank is almost always going to get cut. We'll see if there's anything good in any of those. They're almost all redundant. ChatGPT has a real tendency to do this, and you need that space anyway to like say, Sips and Strategies, the name of the drink and the name of the build. Like that is the thing that you should do, I think. Not, redundantly over explain the joke like a robot. Number 2, drink and dive. Drink and dive, not drink and drive. We'll get to that. Exploring gaming styles through beverage pairings. Okay. Do not do we need to do not name your video series do not instruct the audience to drink and dive. No. Fail. Obviously going below the line. However, I do actually let me just make sure it gets down there. God. Also drink and dive, like dive into the builds. I was laughing so much at how obviously a terrible idea that is. I didn't fully notice. Hold on. Drink and dive. No, you double fail. Neither of these words is build. Like, I think it's like dive into, like drink and dive, exploring gaming styles through beverage pairings. Like dive is the gaming one, of course, but ChatGPT doesn't know what these words mean. Like dive into the strategy, like no, it sounds like drink and drive. It sounds like drink and dive bar, drink and drink. There's a triple fail. However, I would like to say that exploring gaming styles through beverage pairings, while I'm not sure if that is what you intend the goal of the series to be, that is at least a description of a video series that like kind of adds something, you know what I mean? If the bonus points for the same would be have the title explain like why we're making a drinks and builds series, this title at least attempts to do that by using all of the space, and it completely fails on other merits, but it at least kind of tries to do that. By the way, If you do, for some sick reason, want to put this like gobbledygook thing after the blank and blank part of the title into your video, put it in the thumbnail where it won't be parsed as much by search engines. Actually, a lot of increasing evidence suggests that it might be, but the point is that you can still put some text up there. If you must have more text in your video, though it is good for the title to be snappy, or at least the parts of the title to be snappy, but if you must put more text in, I mean, you can put it in the thumbnail. I've really enjoyed a thumbnail style myself recently. Get this out of here, where I basically just say like a jankier version of the concept of the video, or like a colloquial version of the concept of the video, rather than, you know, I don't do these for my Gameplay Gems series, but if it was like Gameplay Gems, Lifetime Stew, I might say, you know, flip a coin, hopefully heal, or something, you know, a janky summary of, or like my Hades improvisational playstyle video. The thumbnail just says wing it in big text on it. I love that. That video did really bad and I worked really hard on it, but the algorithm, I mean, as you, I think you're joking, said in the post, like the algorithm doesn't mean like anything for how well the video did. It probably got buried because of the relevance of Hades or the videos that came out around it or whatever. It's truly a topic for another time. Number 3, game and guzzle. I wonder if I'm going to be able to read any of these without laughing. Game and guzzle. You really committed with the guzzle there, you know. Finding the perfect drink for your gaming style. Okay, so the after gobbledygook that you can't use, this is almost better. You know what I mean? The perfect drink for your gaming style. Gaming style is not a thing people think, but finding the perfect drink for your playstyle. Perfect drink for your playstyle. There's like a bounce to that, and I kind of want that. You know what I mean? That sounds kind of rad if I didn't know any better, which I do because it was generated by ChatGPT. But if you said you were going to make that series, yeah, you know, I'm vaguely down for that. That's not bad. I almost, dare I say this? I hope you don't take offense when I say this, XandyPants. I mean, I might have to ask first, but like, I kind of want to make a series like this myself. Finding the perfect drink for your gaming style. I'm going to replace that with play style and put that in the notes. But you can see how, like, as is, this is not really usable. But if you take this as inspiration and write something similar, yeah, like, yeah, there's something there, maybe. Game and guzzle. Game... People who play video games being referred to as gamers, like a sort of tribe that plays video games. It's just 2 quick things. First of all, nobody who actually likes video games says that. I had somebody visit, like to fix part of the apartment, and they saw me using my nice mechanical keyboard, and they said, "Oh, I'm a bit of a gamer myself." And I feel very harsh saying this. This is me being rude. This is not me making fun of them. I immediately thought, you are obviously not. You know what I mean? Like, if you were a gamer, you would not call yourself that. You know, that means you maybe play Call of Duty. You know what I mean? That's okay. That's great that you enjoy that. But if you played like a good amount of video games, you would not refer to yourself as a gamer. And it's also very corporate, you know, people who don't know anything about reality referring to a sort of tribe down there in the jungle as being gamers, weird, unique people that play video games. Literally everyone plays video. Like, do you live under a rock? Like, it's 2024. Like, no one doesn't play video games. Probably more people play video games than have running water some parts of the world. Think about that. Stick that in your cap and what's that one phrase? Stick that in your pipe and smoke it. Don't name the series Game and Guzzle. I kind of like the you really committed with guzzle though. Like, that's I sort of like that. Game goes under the line and guzzle goes above the line. We'll see if that ever becomes useful. Libations and levels, matching beverages with gaming tactics. Yawn fest. Libations and levels, matching beverages with gaming tactics. This one gets the award. I simply must give this one the award for most AI generated title. It sounds the most like you are an article that AI generated a title that no human would ever write unless they were held at gunpoint and needed to make 2 words that were the same letter that meant drinks and builds. Libations and levels is just like, no. The other reason this one gets the big veto for me Libations and levels. I'm just gonna write L and L. I'm not gonna type out the entire titles for these. There's no more L and L ones. In fact, do they all use different letters? Very based, ChatGPT. Like, that's unnecessary, but whatever. There's probably not multiple pairings of words that mean beverage and build that share the same letter. So fair enough, whatever. Actually, brews and boss fights is the next one. Hey, look at that. Enhancing your gaming experience with drinks. Okay, it became alcoholism, but okay, we'll get back to that one. Stay focused. The other thing I don't like about some of these is that they're not general enough for, I mean, maybe you're only gonna make builds for games that have levels, or levels is pretty general. Boss fights, you know, it just seems weirdly focused on a thing that I would imagine this series is not going to be weirdly focused on. Drink and only for boss fight build pairing, I don't want to watch that series. That's weird. So I don't know, that's kind of a weird nitpick, but I mean, why did you ask me this? You know what I mean? I'm increasingly feeling like this is definitely a meme. You know what I mean? Like, you asked this as a joke because these are so obviously bad. I don't believe you would write something as, like, relatively eloquent or at least snarky as the post that you wrote at the beginning of the parlay, and then you would think these titles were anything but bad, basically, right? Although, anyway. Brews and boss fights, enhancing your game experience with drinks. Again, this one, like, if you made a one-shot, like a one-off video or a D&D one-shot, a tabletop role-playing game one-shot, or a single video called literally just brews and boss fights, enhancing your gaming experience with drinks, like, and it's basically you just doing boss fights while, I guess, drunk, like wasted, you know what I mean? Again, that actually sounds kind of rad if I didn't know any better, which I do because it's auto-generated by ChatGPT. But this one is like maybe the most usable title as is, just not at all good for a series. I don't want to watch a whole series of you getting what, well, I don't know. I mean, maybe, but I'm going to put this one above the line, but it kind of doesn't fulfill the assignment. Next, I'm really having trouble switching this on and off because we're talking about things from the prompt so frequently. But number 6, this one is the only one that doesn't have the and in it. So we're getting a little frisky, ChatGPT. Whoa. Gamer's Goblet, a guide to drink pairings for every playstyle. Okay. So probably the only one where I'm going to say Gamer's Goblet. No, we already talked about the whole gamer thing. Goblet is just odd. Like, no. A guide to drink pairings for every playstyle. Again, standalone YouTube video that's like about that. Tweak the wording somewhat. For example, may I suggest the definitive guide. The definitive drink pairing guide for every playstyle. Something like that. There's this kind of sing-song, nauseating rhythm to some of the text generated by ChatGPT, and I'm having a very strange experience of that as I read through this, but provided that you kind of fiddle around with the words a little bit, and I really like it when videos have a title that's authoritative about something completely damn useless, you know what I mean? Not like the optimal fast food tier list. Like, no, shut up. But if it's something that like you couldn't possibly have authority about, yeah, that's kind of fun. You know, the definitive guide to something no one has ever thought about and is completely useless. Like, yes, okay, sure. I can get down with that. Because the gag works. It doesn't sound like you actually think that there is any meaningful authority to be asserted. It's like obviously hilarious because there is absolutely no way to declare. There's nothing definitive about. It's the definitive that is the joke to me. So I can kind of get down with this one. Gamer's Goblet is a big fail, but I like that ChatGPT at least didn't do an and every single time. Number 7, cocktails and controllers. Okay, stop. How many characters is that? Cocktails and controllers. 20 something. 24 or 23. Holy shit. Yeah, no. I mean, you can't have half your title be cocktails and controllers. I also think You didn't really imply this, but a lot of these drink words are focused on alcoholic drinks. They have the context of it's gonna have booze in it. Now, in some parts of the world, cocktails doesn't have the connotation of like alcoholic drinks, but I think it is very wise, if you don't mind the suggestion, to not make your series only involve alcohol or exclusively involve caffeine, for example. It's a little difficult to make a lot of tasty drinks from things that do not frequently contain some alcohol or caffeine. I would know. Humanity has put a lot of energy into making tasty things that contain alcohol and caffeine because they are drugs that make people feel a way they find nice. Or the copium. I don't think this is a bad thing necessarily, but not everybody will want them, especially not all of the time. So it's very valuable to have drinks that are basically, I'm just saying, as somebody who increasingly wants to just make my own better version of this series and is getting like mildly irritated at the lack of depth to the series, like you need to describe what the series is going to be more, I guess is what I'm saying. We're getting a bit wound up, but I don't think you should limit it to only alcohol. Okay, cocktails and controllers, elevating your gaming with the right drink. Again, like it became alcoholism. I feel elevating your gaming is also just, I like cringe is blinding me. I'm like freaking out from like elevating. That's just, it's like when people say it can be a revelation to see, I don't know, some enlightening think piece from the early 2000s that tells you that climate change exists or something. It's like, you could just not live under a rock is actually the other option. Let's move on. Oh, it's still here. Perfect. I'm doing probably the worst I've ever done with this today. It's almost like, well, we'll get back to that. It's almost like the prompt and the boundary between the prompt and my discussion is a little, refresh and respawn. Beverage pairings for different gaming styles. Kind of a yawn fest one again. Refresh and respawn is kind of clever. Like I sort of want a series that is like multiplayer FPS only and then hydration only. It sounds like a series where you review energy drinks and play like battle royale games or Halo or something, which for the third time sounds like not bad necessarily. Beverage pairings for different gaming styles. That's not doing much. Refresh and respawn can go over the line, but I will make the point again that you'd have to be making a pretty particular series for that to not be a limiting title. It's just that fortunately this time the limiting is the game. The audience can kind of hand wave that. Refresh and respawn, and then in the title, the game isn't a multiplayer competitive shooter or something. Not that you don't respawn in other games, but you get the point. I think the audience is more willing to look past that. Whereas if you call it cocktails and controllers and you say, coconut white tea and, Ash from Warframe build or whatever, I think the audience is more likely to go, oh, coconut white tea sounds good, but I don't want an alcoholic drink and it says cocktails, so I'm going to assume it has alcohol. You see what I'm saying? I feel like if one of the two words is going to imply something you don't imply, the drink word, it's more important to avoid that. In fact, the drink thing is just more random, period. Like, I feel like that word needs to do more work. It's really not that difficult to come up with some, like, fine, I guess, words for the gaming or playstyle thing. Taste and tactics. Matching beverages to your gaming strategy. Taste and tactics. A refined pairing of words. I mean, it's like a bit general. It's a bit general. The taste, there's no drink. It's just taste. But the thing in the title after this, if you taste and tactics, and then it's like the drink and the game, right? If that's the title, I mean, there will be a drink description right after this title. So I feel like you'll get it, I guess. Taste and tactics. I'm imagining the thumbnail where you've got the smoking jacket on and you're kind of sitting in the armchair. Ah, yes, I truly am holding a whiskey snifter that has like, iced tea in it or something. Okay. Matching beverages to your gaming strategy. ChatGPT, this one is kind of just credit for you. This is the one that to me, it sounded like what I thought the series was going to be about. Like about pairing a beverage and a game or a play style. Not about one of them kind of being the primary and then there's the secondary. So for example, finding the perfect drink for your gaming style. It's like searching for the drink and then you have your gaming thing. Like it's more interesting to me for it to be that they're equal, that they're being paired. I don't know why. Anyway, well, I mean, for goodness sakes, it's starting to be that I have a long list of objections to your series, which is a very good way to figure out what you want to do with this series. Crazy. I don't know. I mean, it's almost like, oh, okay. The 10th one. Okay, I think, all right, I'm gonna read you the bad part first. How about that? Crafting the ultimate gaming beverage experience. It's already the best gobbledygook one because again, it does the good thing that the one guide to drink pairings for every playstyle, like it did the good thing that that one did, where it's like you could modify that to be, it kind of already is, like an authoritative statement about something that it is preposterous to assert authority about. You know what I mean? That's kind of fun. Crafting the ultimate gaming beverage experience. That's just the title for this video. I mean, it's literally the title for this video. I've not taken that one back. Exclamation point? I think exclamation point. Parley. Crafting the ultimate gaming beverage experience. Because it's ChatGPT, of course, all of the words are capitalized except for the which I suppose it wouldn't be capitalized. They've kind of done the case thing that a lot of titles do. This is a pretty arcane art. You know, as someone who spent a lot of time in the English major and got very annoyed by people kind of insisting on what is correct grammar when that's obviously completely irrelevant and it only matters like what looks good as grammar or what communicates the information you're looking for. The capitalization for your YouTube title is, I think, entirely dictated by importance. You know, so for example, a guide to drink pairings for every playstyle. A is capitalized because it is the first word and it's a guide. That's the thing it is. Though the fact that it looks good in a way for that to be capitalized hints that the would work better, I think. Also, some of you might have thought, well, hold on, a guide to drink pairings for every playstyle. You could not capitalize the A and do that kind of internet culture thing where the beginning of the title isn't capitalized to kind of like chill out the seriousness of the claim a little bit is I guess how I perceive that. Make it a bit more humble. I like that as well. So the a guide, capital A, it looks fine. It makes sense why that would be capitalized. And then 2, that's not capitalized. Drink pairings 4, that's not capitalized. Every playstyle. The A being capitalized makes sense there. And it's irrelevant even if there was somehow some completely meaningless, pedantic grammatical rule about that. But I think lowercasing the A for a different approach or making it into the guide for 2 drink pairings for every playstyle, you know, restyling it would make it more fun. But this one, I mean, that's not bad as is. Crafting the ultimate gaming beverage experience. Beautiful. I mean, that just, yes, I want that. ChatGPT, you've done it. You, and not me, because I think I want to make it a bit of a different way, can now go make your own damn series about builds and friggin' brews and boss fights or whatever. Builds and beverages is like fine. It's just kind of boring. But are you ready? Potions and playstyles. Oh yes, I think we've done it. Yeah, yep. I would use that one personally. There's a lot. I like playstyles for builds here. There's a couple of reasons why, but this is very XandyPants. This is very like a thing I like. This might not be a positive for you, but I'll just explain. What a build is not a well enough defined concept to be easy to discuss right now. So what often happens in my videos anyway and it sounds like you have a pretty similar channel, is that there will be a kind of rift between some people who are thinking of builds as being like sort of part of a challenge component, or like the kind of puzzle thing where the game has options for you to pick between, but you're kind of meant to puzzle out the ones that are good. It's almost a trick is how I think of it. I'm quite negative about this kind of design to some extent. No, there are versions of the puzzle thing where a lot of the options are meant to be good, but you kind of have to figure out how. This sort of approach where it's a build system and everything is bad and you have to use the system to make good things, sort of. That's maybe fine. But you can see, I mean, even talking about this subject, it's like not even that possible for me to explain what the misunderstanding is here. Yeah. So I think it's a big positive to take the shotgun approach, is how I refer to it in my own videos. Refer to it as everything. Like, don't pick a single term. There will really never be people searching for just a single version of the concept anyway. So even if you, like me, are arrogant enough to think that you can somewhat codify, get people to orbit around a coherent word cloud, not a single definition, but a coherent word cloud of what a build is, people are still going to search for it in different ways. Playstyle is a very close second in my mind. Build, playstyle, I could kind of see it going either way. I feel like playstyle is a little bit different because you can sort of have a playstyle in a game that doesn't really let you customize available playstyles. You just play with the same tools everybody else has, but in a certain way. That is a bit different than a build, but I think this is fine. And here's the thing. Playstyles and then potions. A couple of good things about potions. We'll come back to why it's good with playstyles. First of all, it goes without saying, you've connected drinks to the builds. Potions, the type of drink you use in a video game. That's like actually genius. That's like, I'm mad I didn't think of it myself level of like, that's good. I mean, it's not genius, of course. It's completely randomly generated by ChatGPT, but it's good. Like, that is useful. That you ought to take that, I think. And potions, like combining ingredients and stuff, I feel like the audience has an idea of what a video about potions will be like. You're going to combine ingredients and do like a mixology thing. It's not just going to be, we taste this white wine. That sounds fine, but we're going to combine stuff. That accurately describes the connection to video games, sort of, and the fact that it's going to be like you assemble a potion. There's going to be ingredients to the potion, I think. And then play styles. Okay, so that doesn't necessarily imply you're like making a build, crafting a build. It's just like the way you play, maybe. But I think it does also include the connotation of a build for a lot of people. But I think the thing is, that's how making a beverage, like making the potion, connects back to why are they similar things. You know what I mean? When you fiddle out your own playstyle, like that is like making a potion. And I like that the one that's less obvious gets kind of helped by the drink part of the video. It's less obvious to some people maybe why making a build would be like a valuable thing. For one thing, some people will say, I don't understand why it's appealing to just need to figure out what build you slap on so the thing works. But for potions, for drinks, for food, basically, I think it's quite self-evident to people why customizing it to be what you like is worth it. It's just because it goes without saying, like, of course, you like different things, and so it is sort of categorically worth it. I mean, basically, it starts to become a matter of a question of its own. Like, I now almost want to make a parlay saying, do people think that? Do people get that? You know what I mean? Is that... I don't know. I mean, there's an option here. And I guess if you're seeing this video, I didn't take it. And the option is, do I just not put this parlay up and then do this series? And then, I mean, that would be highly dishonest. It would be highly dishonest. You asked for my help. And I mean, but potions and playstyles, I mean, that's kind of fun. I sort of, playstyles is like a little stuffy. You know what I mean? Yeah, it is. It is a little bit. Potions and playstyles. Playstyles is a little stuffy. Potions as the word for like the drink thing. Ooh, like I like that. Potions and playstyles. Potions and playstyles. It's not me saying it over and over again. It's probably not going to give me a solution. Potions and power creep. Oh yeah, yeah, we're cooking with gas now. How many characters is potions of playstyles? Playstyles is, you know, like medium to long. So if it's going to be another word, 20. That's not too bad. Potions of power creep. I don't know. Anyway, you know, apropos of nothing, I thought this was highly informative, you know, inspiring. I almost have some of my own ideas for videos now that maybe we'll cook up in a future XandyPants channel collaboration. I'll go check out your channel. It sounds cool. It sounds like something I'd like. I always feel kind of weird when when we get into complimenting the person who did the prompt. I don't want you to feel like I'm trying to encourage you to spend money again. You know what I mean? You've paid $9 for me to talk about your thing, and if I do a good job, you may pay the $9 again. And I don't want you to feel like if I say anything positive, it's me like buttering you up. In fact, I have a kind of a rule for Parley that I try to like sort of rip apart like some aspect of the Parley to hopefully gain your trust that I'm not afraid to say something negative if I think it. Or I sort of try to get into my own groove and just talk about whatever I want to say. It seems to be working. People don't seem to be bothered by, you know, oh, you know, it's too flattering or whatever. Hopefully we're talking about things in enough detail. Goodness, looks at the clock nervously. That I've kind of earned that a bit. But yeah, we'll see. This one, maybe it's pushing it a little bit. I mean, I did say a lot of negative things, but it was about the names from ChatGPT. I don't know. I don't know. If I'm still $9 richer next month, let's just say I'll be surprised. Your move, XandyPants.